All right. Week 4. I didn't forget about you. If you're following along, appreciate you. Week 4 of The Artist's Way. Recovering a sense of integrity. Right off the bat, I'm tired. I'm in my Snuggie hoodie, goddammit. Nighttime tea. Bear with me. This one's going to be scatterbrained. I'm going to try and keep it short, too, because week 4 didn't really hit me. I read week 5 today at work, and that one was really good. So next week's video is going to be great. Week 4, there's a couple little tidbits that are good. Recovering a sense of integrity, but yeah, sometimes it just ain't hitting. I think some chapters are made for some people, some are made for others. I think a lot of stuff the book has to say, I think that my own journey kind of brought me to. So, also, I need a haircut. My hair's getting so long. I don't know how to feel about it. I was just saying that. But yes. This week had some interesting tools at the end. Some like to-dos, which is what she calls them, tools. Or I'm sorry, tasks. I'm tripping. Tasks this week were really interesting. The biggest one, dude, reading deprivation, which I couldn't help. I'm gonna move my desk up a little bit. Going up. I couldn't help but just like tragically fail because I need to read. There's no way I'm not gonna read. Like if this book really wants me to get fired from my job, like I need to read. So, reading numbers and names and words all day at work. That's my job, to read the numbers. So what I did instead, and you might have noticed, or maybe you'll notice when I come back and have come back, but like took Instagram off my phone and YouTube, which are my biggest things. Because I think the reading deprivation, what I think it gets at, for me, at least what I saw the overlap was my compulsion to like always be learning things. And so I'm always putting on a YouTube video of people explaining some kind of concept or interviews. I love Nardwuar and what's it called? Beats One, Zane Lowe, and honestly, biggest shout out to the Converse conversations that Tyler the Creator did over the last couple years. Those I've watched a dozen times. I was literally just watching the first one from 3 years ago today while I was cooking dinner. I go back to this all the time. Something about the way his mind works and the way that he's just always on go mode is inspiring. And inspiration isn't even like a good word. Like it's just a blueprint, like I look to be more like him and really just take the governor off what I'm thinking as a creator. And that's exactly what this book's doing. So hell yeah to all that. But reading deprivation, no YouTube, no Instagram. I felt better for sure. If I know I'm uploading this on YouTube. I would say use YouTube sparingly when you really got those ideas. Instagram, sheesh, don't even get me started. That place is worse and worse every day. Go watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. The Social Dilemma. They interviewed a bunch of people that worked at major social media companies and tech companies when they first started, and they basically are breaking down how the algorithms work and how terrifying it is how these things work. And one of the big things that I learned from that is if something's free, then you are the product. Like your attention and your data is the product. So like any apps that are free, any accounts that are free, there's more to it. These companies need to make money, so they're probably selling your information. So it's crazy to advertisers. And they just want to keep you on as much as possible. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. Most of the time it's bad, and it's crazy. But enough of that. Yeah, that's why I took YouTube and Instagram off my phone, is because I needed to free up the mental space and the time. My screen time went down probably by like 2 hours at least in a day. But yeah, back to the book. Recovering a Sense of Integrity, week 4. I don't know. This one felt kind of like all over the place as far as how she wrote it. Maybe just like I said, maybe it just didn't really hit me. But let's read the summary, and maybe that'll kind of jog my memory. This week may find you grappling with changing self-definition. The essays, tasks, and exercises are designed to catapult you into productive introspection and integration of new self-awareness. This may be both very difficult and extremely exciting for you. Warning: do not skip the tool of reading deprivation. I underline that. Girl, Julia, is it Julia? Can I call you Julia? I ain't doing that. I need to pay my bills, but I love you. Appreciate the suggestion. Maybe the next time around, when I do this book next year or in a couple years, I'll do that. But can't do that today, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, the first section, honest changes. I'm just gonna kind of go through and just read some of the stuff that I underlined and maybe understand what I meant by underlining them. But I underlined out of context here. Stop saying it's okay when in fact it's something else. And then the main tool of this book, the morning pages. If you're just tuning in now, the two main tools of this book, are the morning pages, where you wake up every day, write 3 stream of consciousness pages, at least 3, and also do a weekly artist date where you go and do something that fuels your creativity, even if it's a little minor, 10, 15 minutes, but it's out of routine and it's you alone fueling your creativity, going to a new place on your lunch break. Some example from last chapter was like go to a record store on your lunch break, that kind of thing. Just go to a park, go see a show, stuff like that. Go watch a movie, that kind of stuff. The artist date and the morning pages. But that all to say, I underlined, stop saying it's okay when in fact it's something else. The morning pages press us to answer what else. And when you got to write those 3 stream of consciousness pages, you really understand what's going on in your consciousness. So, I'm always trying to get to the root of what's going on in my mind, and just being as blank as I can with myself. And the morning pages really help anybody stay true to that. But yeah, stop saying it's okay. The more I do this book, the more I realize how important it is to be real, and how beneficial it is to you and to others to just be as genuine as possible and say the hard things and be the person that you actually feel compelled to be instead of the person you think you need to be. And that's part of what I got out of week 5, which will be next week's video. That I'll go over all that next week, but I'm kind of in the thick of it in week 5, so I'm feeling that one real heavy. So I'll have a lot to say next week. But some of the other things I had underlined for this week, I have noticed that many tend to neglect or abandon the pages whenever an unpleasant piece of clarity is about to emerge. And this I underlined because I did terrible. I did two days of the 7 days last week for week 4, and it was bad, and I'm a little ashamed of it. But doing a YouTube video like this, doing these vlogs, is what keeps me on track. You know what I mean? It's already Tuesday into week 5, but I'm like, nope, week 4 video needs to be made and need to be put out. I'll probably upload this tonight just to get it out of the way. And yeah, the pages need to be stuck to, because you got to stay humble. You never know what's behind door number 2. You know what I'm saying? Keep peeling back the curtain. Stay humble, and an unpleasant piece of clarity is about to emerge, to use her words. Some other things that I had underlined. Chekhov, I don't know who Chekhov is, advised, if you want to work on your art, work on your life. That's another way of saying that in order to have self-expression, we must first have a self to express. That's a bar. I think of the one video. Unfortunately, it was after he passed. I saw it. They uploaded this visit Mac Miller had to Rick Rubin's Shangri-La house studio. It might have been the one that burnt down before he's in whatever place he is now. I don't know how that ended up, but he's talking about all the music he made. He made 12, 13, 14 projects in his life, and he really just kind of was saying how he had the realization that you're gonna have to live life to have something to talk about in your music, and and have a self to express. You know what I mean? And I think I'm kind of falling into that at this point. Just kind of getting the rut of day to day life and kind of running out of things to express. You know what I mean? So trying to get back to myself here with this book. And so I wanted to underline that. Work on your life if you want to work on your art, because that's where it's coming from. And that is the business of the morning pages. Of course, it's always back to the morning pages. And then in quotes it says, I myself feel this way and that way and this way. No one else need agree with me, but this is what I feel. And that's what you're getting out of the morning pages. Like, just get it down. I'd be saying some crazy shit, and it's good. It's great. It's awesome. The process of identifying a self inevitably involves loss as well as gain, which is cool. Like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, was feeling depressed. I think it's because this book was just hitting, and there was change happening, and so it's awesome. There will be loss as well as gain when you identify a self, because you can't. It's a law of the universe. I can't remember what physics law it is. Thermodynamics or something like that, but there's just energy exchange, and you can't you can't have one thing added to the system without another one being removed or transmutate. Is it transmutation? Is that the word? I know that's not like necessarily the scientific concept that I'm trying to refer to, but what I mean is, like, when a change happens, it's happening. There's one thing and one thing out. Like, if you're going to change your identity, that means inevitably the old identity is going to die. It's going to change. So you got to be prepared for that part of it. In addition to posing problems, the morning pages may also pose solutions. And then in quotes, she says, I am bored with me. It would be fun to learn French. Or, I noticed a sign just down the block for a clay and fiber class. That sounds interesting. As we notice which friends bore us, which situations leave us stifled, we are often rocked by waves of sorrow. We may want our illusions back. We want to pretend that the friendships work. We want the trauma of searching for another job, or we don't want the trauma of searching for another job. Faced with impending change we have set in motion through our own hand, we want to mutiny, curl up in a ball our eyes out. No pain, no gain, the nasty slogan has it. We resent the pain no matter what gain it is bringing us. I butchered the reading of that, but no pain, no gain is really all she's saying. And, that's usually what people say in athletics and bodybuilding and working out and stuff, but it applies to your inner self as well. You gotta stretch the muscle, you gotta stretch the being that is you, and you gotta flex it to really grow it. And that's all I had underlined on that page. This one I had starred, so let's see why it matters. What we got here? People frequently believe the creative life is grounded in fantasy. The more difficult truth is that creativity is grounded in reality. In the particular, the focused, the well-observed, or specifically imagined. Which I love that, because maybe, I think I probably hold that own perspective. I've been a little indoctrinated as far as that goes, where creativity and being creative means you're whimsical and airy and not grounded and not, imaginative and not really like with reality. But she's fighting that, she's opposing that concept. And of course she comes back to the morning pages. The morning pages point the way to reality. This is how you're feeling. What do you want to make of that? And yeah, so I hope you get the point there, because I kind of just did. Shifts in taste and perception frequently accompany shifts in identity. One of the clearest signals that something healthy is afoot is the impulse to weed out, sort through, and discard old clothes, papers, and belongings, which is, now that I think now, like moving into this new place in Arizona, we got rid of a lot of stuff, and as soon as we got here, it felt right. It made so much more sense to get rid of stuff now that we were here instead of back at home. So it's definitely a part of it, and I definitely think I need to force myself into doing more of that to kind of push along that identity change. A household overflowing with odds and ends and tidbits you've held on to for a someday has no space for the things that might truly enhance today. Woo! Julia Cameron. Can I call you Julia? You're awesome. The analogy that I use is that once we engage in the process of morning pages and artist states, we begin to move at such velocity that we do not even realize the pace. And I feel that now, like, I feel a lot of change happening, but at the same time, I think there's more change happening than what I am feeling and what I am realizing. And as someone who's very observant, very analytical, and like, I want to, doesn't have to be tangible necessarily, but I want to wrap my head around what's going on. And sometimes that can be a detriment because a lot of the most amazing things in life you can't fully understand, and you need to kind of be hands off to let it be as beautiful and like amazing as it is. I feel that a lot of times in music. I'll make songs and maybe they're a little too simple because I don't want to put too many layers in where I can't even wrap my head around what's going on. But in reality, that would make the music better. Like, let the music come to life and be its own thing that's complex, because life is complex. You're creating, you can make that analogy and say you're creating life by making it complex enough to like not be something you can wrap your head around, but still enjoy. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to listen to this one today because that one was good. I need to hear that one again. As you can see here, I'm realizing stuff right on screen. I'm just ranting because this is like doing a journal exercise. It's just hopping on here. It's pretty nice. What you have been doing with the morning pages is wiping the mirror. Each day's morning pages takes a swipe at the blur you have kept between you and your real self. So, like a steamy mirror in the shower. And the more I read this, the more I realize what I underlined. This chapter really just seems to be like pushing you towards the morning pages. Like, don't give up. Like, just keep writing. Just keep doing the morning pages. Things are happening. And ironically enough, this is the chapter that I did the least amount of morning pages. So she really thought that out. And I didn't fail, but I didn't win the battle on this week. And rightfully so. She really makes that emphasis. This one, I have a little section that I have, and I'll read it for you, but I blocked it off. It says, "The snowflake pattern of your soul is emerging. Each of us is a unique, creative individual, but we often blur that uniqueness with sugar, alcohol, drugs, overwork, underplay, bad relations, toxic sex, under-exercise, over TV, undersleep, many and varied forms of junk food for the soul. The pages help us to see these smears on our consciousness." I think I blocked that one off because, I struggle with those kind of distractions. I love sugar. Probably drink sometimes when I don't need to. You know what I mean? And just fill in the void, fill in the boredom, whatever it is. Even, the overwork, the underplay. I've been feeling that a lot recently, especially like this. This book is great, but it feels like work sometimes, and I think that's part of the reason the artist date is so important, and what I need to really get it back in. I need to lean into the artist date more because that's the play. That's the expansion and the freedom and the spontaneity that this book is inviting us to do. So, I need to finish this album. But at the same time, I need to be a healthy human being with a healthy connection to my creativity. Of course, the pages help us to see these smears on our consciousness, to reiterate what she said there. Here we go. Great little section to just follow up what I just said. "It is normal to yearn for some rest when you are moving so rapidly. What you will learn to do is rest in motion. Like lying down in a boat, your morning pages are your boat. They will both lead you forward and give you a place to recuperate from your forward motion. Do your morning pages, kids. Jesus. Some immunity and stress tea from Yogi. The best. What do we got on the tea tab today? It is the light in the lantern which shows you the path, not the lantern. Facts. And then that leads us pretty much to the end of the chapter. And I'll go over the artist check-in. And then I'll tell you about some of the tasks. Excuse me. Some of the tasks that I had done this week. So artist check-in. How many days this week did you do your morning pages? How was that experience for you? 2 to 7 days of morning pages. 2 out of the 7 days. So that was not good. Number 2, did you do your artist date this week? I thought I didn't, but then I was like, wait, I kind of did without realizing, which is probably a better way to do it. But I made time to go to the park. There's this new park that I really like over in Scottsdale, and yeah, I just like it. It's a big field. There's a lot to do, a lot of room. I like touching the grass because there's finally grass and nice lake, and so I went to walk around there, listen to some music, and did some exercises. You know, like you got those like old jack dudes doing all like the calisthenic exercises in the park. Yeah, We still live? I don't know what just happened there. My computer locked. I don't know why I did that in the middle of the video. But but yeah, so I was doing that, doing some exercises, walking around the park. And then the third one, did you experience any synchronicity this week, and what was it? Yeah, I was thinking about it on Sunday, which is real cool. We were sitting by the pool at our building, and we needed to make dinner, me and my girlfriend. And I was like, let me just go get all the stuff, and we'll grill it on the grill, because they have grills up there. And so we were up on the deck, and I was grilling it, and then all of a sudden, some of our friends that we made here in the building, who we don't know too much, but like super, super cool people, just come up, and they just throw down like 50 hamburger buns and like a 50 count of cupcakes, and they're like, we're having a cookout, like, you know, just stick around. People show up. The one dude's mom was in town, so she like cooked a bunch of food for everybody. You know, she wanted to meet her son's friends and all this stuff. Super cool, super good vibes. Like it was some of that food I haven't had like just feel good like barbecue food in so long, and it was comforting to have that, you know. But yeah, and then I met some people who make music, you know, a couple cool friends. So that felt synchronous because, you know, we were just gonna cook out there and then go home, and then all of a sudden, of course, like the people that we already knew in the building who I already had a good feeling about show up, and we just start hanging out, and I got to meet more of them and get closer to them. So that was awesome. Now I'm worried my computer's locking, so I'm gonna keep moving it. And then the last one was, were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. So yeah, like I said, I struggled with the reading deprivation since my job, you know, really requires that I read. And then, you know, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, it took Instagram and YouTube out of my life for a week, which was good. But also just feel very behind with so much that I have to do. I mean, I got like 2 loads of laundry over there. I got to send some stuff back to Pittsburgh in the mail. I got this album I'm trying to finish literally by like next Sunday, like this time next week at the latest. Trying to get my bread up, trying to spend time with my girlfriend, and give all those things the time that they deserve. And this book, man, this book is work, and it's high level importance, because I know I need to stick with it for it to really work. I don't want to lose momentum here, so we're moving, and I'm doing these videos. So, and then just to recap, try and end it here soon, but we have a couple exercises we were put on this week. Buried Dreams List 5 hobbies that sound fun, 5 classes that sound fun, 5 things you personally would never do that sound fun. List 5 skills that would be fun to have, 5 things you used to enjoy doing. List 5 silly things you would like to try once. I honestly don't even remember doing that one. Hold up. Oh yeah. Crazy stuff. Yeah, that one's for me. But you should try those. Play it back, write those down, and then some of the little things she says about it. This is an exercise in spontaneity, so be sure to write your answers out quickly. Speed kills the sensor. The exercise that, oh, no, I'm sorry. As you may have gathered by this point in your work, we will approach certain problems from many different angles, all of them aiming at eliciting more information from your unconscious of what you might consciously enjoy. So we've done exercises similar to this throughout the book so far, but just listing things that you want to do and just really just reconnecting with your real desires, with your time and with your life. So doing more of that. Be spontaneous, write quickly, don't think it over. And then she suggests some things, a bigger section about the reading deprivation, because she knows people are going to struggle with that. So she's really just telling you, like, chill out and not read whatever you do. List some things to do instead. So a couple of cool exercises. Let me see where those went. Like an ideal environment. Describe your ideal environment. Town, country, swank, cozy. One paragraph, one image drawn or clipped that conveys this. What's your favorite scene? Go through some magazines and find an image of this, or draw it. Place it near your working area, which I need to do. I want to go through all these exercises, find those things that she was telling us to, like, make a vision board for. I'll probably put it back here, so maybe you could even end up seeing it in the videos and stuff as it builds. But yeah, so mine was like, I said my idea environment would be two-pronged. An ideal home base in the countryside and one in a town. And then I would say the ideal singular environment move would be a house on a hillside overlooking a quaint coastal town. I'm picturing Italy or Greece. The house is very open with tile and ornate woodwork, but then there's also like a room or two that is really cozy, and I'm picturing like red carpet, like real old style, like thicker red carpeting. Something that makes me feel like my grandparents' house is what I wrote, but with more natural sunlight coming in. Just picturing a lot of like warm light like we get here in Phoenix coming through. I got a couple friends who stay there, and we just living life. You got the studio set up in there, and we got a deck space on the outside. We just go down to the town, casually get some groceries, go for a coffee date. Maybe I got a boat at the dock down there, and that would be nice. And I should do that with my life, you know what I mean? Purpose of the exercise. And then 2 of these were pretty crazy. One was like, describe yourself at 80, and then write a letter from your 80-year-old self back to you now. And then write a letter from 8-year-old you to now. And 80-year-old me was really saying to me, like, keep your heart open, slow down, like, I think this sums it up. Listen to your heart and your desires, but also know that those people who have adventures in mind, they have the right ideas too. It's about experiences and connections with those you love. Love those that love you. See the world. Hold the hands of those you love. Keep your heart open like you're so good at. Eat the dessert, but also take care of your body. It could break down in my old age. I really play into these exercises, as you should. But yeah, just good exercise, or a good exercise, but also a good perspective of just balance and, leaning into life, but also sometimes my desires don't align with the people around me. So you got to like find that balance too, and figure out how you're gonna take care of yourself in that way. And then letter from 8-year-old me to me now has so many questions, just like, oh, what sports are you playing? Like, do you still have that beanbag chair? And just all this stuff. So that was fun. Nothing really came of it other than all these questions, which was interesting. And then that was about it. We did this artist's prayer, which she has an example later in the book, but it was like basically a prayer to the Creator. And as the book goes on, it definitely gets more religious, which I'm about. I'm leaning into it. Honestly, I feel like it's altering the way that I see the concept of God and religion, and it's cool. And so I wrote a little artist prayer that really just, I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but really it's kind of just telling the Creator that like what I'm doing and what we're doing is trying to carry on the creation that He made us and all His work to create the world and all the creative energy that emanates through everything. Like all we're trying to do is stay on course with that and not, trust in our hearts and our minds that that those creative urges are to be followed, and to not let our ego or insecurities get in the way, kind of stuff. That's about it. A couple more exercises, but this video is getting long. I didn't expect this week to be long at all, but I think because there was a lack of a message in this chapter for me, maybe that's why I'm trying to fill it with random crap, but I think there's still good stuff in here. I hope if you're still watching this, you're doing well, and I appreciate you sticking around. We're still making music. I'm not just making YouTube vlogs anymore, okay? We got an album. I got a track list made. We're working on it, and I'm gonna work on how I'm gonna show you. You know what I mean? I'm working on how you're gonna see it, and how you're gonna hear it, and what it's gonna feel like. You know what I'm saying? So we're good. We're doing good. But thanks for watching. Thanks for walking. If you don't walk, that's cool. Still love you. And I'll talk to you next week. Peace.